The summer sun hung low over the sprawling backyard in suburban Chicago, casting golden hues on the laughter-filled family reunion. But in one shattering moment, Emily caught her daughter Laura, locked in a passionate kiss with her best friend, Callista, behind the old oak tree. The revelation exploded like a grenade, ripping through the facade of their perfect Midwestern life and forcing Laura to choose between her hidden love and the family bond she'd always cherished. Laura's heart pounded as she pulled away from Callista, her lips still tingling from the forbidden touch. She glanced around, praying no one had seen, but her mother's wide-eyed stare from across the yard told her everything. Emily's face drained of color, her hand clutching the barbecue tongs like a lifeline. "Laura," she whispered hoarsely, stepping forward as if in a trance. The reunion chatter faded into a distant hum, and Laura felt the world tilt on its axis. Callista, sensing the shift, squeezed Laura's hand. "We should talk to her," she murmured, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. Laura nodded, but inside turmoil raged. At 24, she'd spent years burying her feelings for Callista, her college roommate turned confidant. They'd grown up together in this tight-knit community, where church picnics and block parties defined normalcy. Coming out wasn't just personal. It was a declaration of war against expectations. Emily approached, her steps measured, like she was navigating a minefield. What was that?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Laura swallowed hard, searching for words. "Mom, Callista and I are together. We've been for months." The admission hung in the air, heavy and irreversible. Emily's eyes filled with tears, not of joy, but of something darker, disappointment, confusion, perhaps even disgust. "This isn't you, Laura. This is a phase. We can fix this." The words stung like a slap. Laura's father, Mark, noticed the tension and wandered over, his beer in hand. "Everything okay here?" he asked, oblivious at first. Emily turned to him, her voice cracking. "Mark, our daughter. She's with Callista." Mark's brow furrowed, then realization dawned. His face hardened. "What do you mean with?" Laura stood taller, drawing strength from Callista's presence. "Dad, I'm gay. Callista is my girlfriend." The backyard seemed to hold its breath. Mark's beer slipped from his grip, shattering on the patio stones. Relatives turned heads, whispers spreading like wildfire. Aunt Karen, the devout Catholic, crossed herself subtly. Cousin Mike smirked, muttering something about city influences. Laura felt exposed, raw, as if her soul had been stripped bare. Callista stepped forward. "Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Thompson, we love each other. This isn't a choice. It's who we are." Mark's response was immediate and brutal. "Not in this house. Not in this family." He turned to Laura. "You've got a lot of explaining to do, young lady. And Callista? You should leave." The command was final, laced with authority honed from years as a high school principal. Callista hesitated, looking to Laura for guidance. "I won't go without her," she said firmly. Laura's mind raced. Stay and fight, or flee and preserve what little peace remained. That night, the house was a battlefield. Laura sat in the living room, flanked by her parents. Emily paced, tears streaming. "How long has this been going on? Did we do something wrong?" Mark interrupted. "It's that liberal college. They brainwash kids these days." Laura tried to explain. "It's not about blame. I've always felt this way. Callista makes me happy." But her words fell on deaf ears. Emily clutched her rosary. "What about the church? What about your future? Marriage, kids? It's all gone if you choose this path." The pressure mounted. Laura thought of her younger sister, Sophie, upstairs eavesdropping. At 16, Sophie idolized her. What message was this sending? Callista waited outside in her car, texting support. But inside, the walls closed in. Mark issued an ultimatum. "End it with Callista or you're out. We won't support this lifestyle." Laura's chest tightened. The family she'd loved, the one that had cheered her graduations and bandaged her scraped knees, now felt like strangers. As midnight approached, Laura made her first agonizing decision. She packed a bag, slipping out to join Callista. Driving away from the house that had been her home for 24 years, Tears blurred her vision. Where do we go now? Callista asked softly. Laura gripped the wheel. Anywhere but here. But deep down she knew this was just the beginning. The betrayal had cut deep, and the wounds would fester. In the days that followed, isolation set in. Laura's phone buzzed with messages from relatives. Some sympathetic, most condemning. Uncle Joe called it unnatural. Grandma sent a letter quoting Bible verses. Sophie texted secretly, I miss you. Mom cries all the time. Guilt gnawed at Laura. Had she been selfish? Callista, ever the optimist, suggested therapy. We can build our own family, she said. But Laura wondered if the price was too high. Work became a refuge. As a graphic designer in downtown Chicago, Laura buried herself in projects. But whispers followed her there too. A coworker, overhearing a phone call, raised an eyebrow. Trouble at home? The question opened floodgates, and Laura found herself confiding in strangers more than family. Callista, a teacher at a local elementary school, faced her own scrutiny. Parents murmured about influences on their kids. One evening, as they shared takeout in their cramped apartment, Callista broached the subject. We need to talk about us. This dress, it's changing you. Laura sighed. I know. I miss them. The admission hung between them, a silent accusation. Was love worth this exile? Callista reached across the table. It is. We'll get through it. But doubt crept in, seeding the first cracks in their bond. Weeks turned into months, and the rift with Laura's family deepened. Emily called sporadically, her voice laced with desperation. Come home, honey. We can work this out. But each conversation ended in arguments about God's plan and traditional values. Mark remained silent, his absence a louder rejection. Laura attended therapy alone at first, unpacking layers of internalized shame. Why do I feel like I'm the one who betrayed them? She asked her counselor. The answer was complex. Societal conditioning, familial expectations, the weight of being the good daughter. Callista supported her, but tensions simmered. Callista came from a more accepting background. Her parents had embraced her coming out in high school. You can't force them to change, Callista said one night as they lay in bed. Laura snapped back. Easy for you to say. Your family threw you a party. The words were sharp, born of envy and pain. Callista recoiled. I'm trying, Laura, but I can't be your punching bag. The first major confrontation came at Sophie's birthday party. Laura showed up uninvited, hoping for reconciliation. The house was festooned with balloons, but the atmosphere chilled when she entered. Emily hugged her stiffly. You came. Mark nodded curtly. Relatives avoided eye contact. Sophie beamed, pulling Laura aside. I'm glad you're here. Things are weird without you. But the peace shattered when Aunt Karen cornered Laura. This phase of yours is tearing the family apart. Think about your mother. Laura's temper flared. It's not a phase. And if anyone's tearing things apart, it's the judgment. Voices rose, drawing attention. Mark intervened. Enough. If you can't respect our views, leave. Laura stood her ground. Respect goes both ways, Dad. Callista had waited in the car, but Laura's recounting later ignited their own fight. Why didn't you bring me? Are you ashamed? Callista accused. Laura denied it, but the seed of doubt grew. Was she? In public, they held hands, less wary of stares. At work, Laura dodged questions about her roommate. The internal conflict raged. Embrace her identity fully, or cling to remnants of acceptance? A turning point came when Laura's boss offered a promotion, relocating to New York. It's a fresh start, Callista enthused. But Laura hesitated. What about Sophie? She's struggling in school. Mom says it's because of me. Guilt anchored her. Callista pressed. You can't sacrifice our future for them. The decision loomed, a moral quandary. Stay and fight for family ties or leave and build anew. Laura chose to stay, turning down the promotion. Callista was devastated. You're choosing them over us. The argument escalated, words like weapons. I'm trying to have both. Laura yelled. Callista stormed out, spending the night at a friend's. Alone, Laura questioned everything. Had her love for Callista been real or a rebellion? The therapy sessions intensified, delving into self-doubt. Reconciliation attempts faltered. Emily invited Laura to church, hoping for guidance. Laura went, enduring the sermon on traditional marriage. Afterward, Emily pleaded, "Pray on it. God can help." Laura left feeling more alienated. Mark's rare call was pragmatic. "Your health insurance ends soon. Figure it out." No warmth, just logistics. Social pressures mounted. Friends drifted, some uncomfortable, others judgmental. At a local LGBTQ support group, Laura found solace. Stories of similar struggles resonated. One woman shared losing custody of her kids. "The system isn't kind," she warned. Laura thought of future dreams, marriage, adoption. Were they attainable? Callista returned, but the damage lingered. They attended couples counseling, unpacking resentments. "I feel like I'm carrying us both," Callista admitted. Laura nodded. "And I feel like I'm losing myself." The sessions revealed deeper issues. Laura's fear of abandonment, Callista's impatience with inaction. Progress was slow, each step a battle. A betrayal blindsided them. Sophie, confiding in a school counselor, revealed family tensions. The counselor, misinterpreting, reported potential abuse. Child Services visited the Thompsons, probing. Emily blamed Laura. "See what your choices caused." The accusation cut deep. Laura confronted Sophie gently. "Why didn't you talk to me?" Sophie tearfully replied, "I thought it would help." The incident amplified divisions. Mark forbade Sophie from contacting Laura. "She's a bad influence." Isolation peaked. Laura spiraled, questioning her worth. Callista stood by, but strain showed. "We need a break," Callista suggested one evening. Laura's world cracked further. Was this the price of authenticity? The break stretched into weeks. Laura moved into a cheap motel, drowning in solitude. Work suffered. Designs lacked her usual spark. Therapy became lifeline, but even there, doubts persisted. "Am I wrong for loving her?" she asked. The counselor probed. Wrong by whose standards? Society's, families, her own internalized ones. Laura grappled with ethics, balancing self-love against familial duty. Callista dated casually, news reaching Laura via mutual friends. Jealousy burned, but so did understanding. She deserves happiness, Laura told herself. Yet late nights brought regrets. Had she pushed Callista away? A chance encounter at a coffee shop reignited sparks. "I've missed you," Callista said. They talked for hours, vulnerabilities exposed. "I was scared," Laura admitted. Callista nodded. "Me too." Reunion tentative, they set boundaries. No rushing. But external forces conspired. Emily discovered the motel address, showing up unannounced. "This isn't living, Laura. Come home." Temptation flickered. Familiar comfort versus uncertain freedom. "Only if you accept Callista," Laura countered. Emily hesitated. "I can't. Not yet." The impasse remained. Sophie's rebellion added layers. She snuck out to meet Laura, defying Mark. "I think you're brave," Sophie said. But the meeting backfired when Mark tracked her phone. Punishment followed. Grounded, phone confiscated. Sophie lashed out in texts. "This is your fault." Guilt resurfaced. Laura questioned her influence. Was she harming her sister? Professional fallout hit Callista. A parent complained about her lifestyle, citing influence on students. The school investigated, placing her on leave. Callista called Laura in tears. "They're saying I'm unfit." Outrage fueled Laura. "Fight it. I'll help." They researched laws, consulting lawyers. Discrimination loomed large, a societal mirror to personal struggles. The hearing was tense. Callista testified, voice steady. "My personal life doesn't affect my teaching." Supporters rallied, colleagues, former students. But opposition whispered biases. The board ruled in her favor, but damage lingered. "I feel marked," Callista confided. Laura held her. "We're stronger together." The ordeal bonded them, but at what cost? Callista's confidence waned. Family dynamics shifted when Grandma fell ill. Hospital visits forced interactions. Mark grumbled greetings. Emily shared updates. Laura brought flowers, sitting vigil. In quiet moments, Emily opened up. I don't understand, but I love you. Tears flowed. I love you too, Mom. A crack in the armor, but Mark remained stoic. Actions have consequences, he said. Laura's moral dilemma peaked. Pursue full acceptance or settle for scraps. She chose confrontation. At a family dinner, she brought Callista. Tensions boiled. Aunt Karen objected. This isn't appropriate. Laura fired back. Love is appropriate. Mark exploded. Not in my house. The evening ended in chaos, Callista in tears. Why push? She asked later. Laura replied. Because hiding is killing me. Betrayal struck from within. A cousin leaked family drama online. Anonymized but recognizable. Comments poured in, supportive and vile. Laura's workplace buzzed. Is this you? A colleague asked. Privacy shattered, she felt violated. Who would do this? Callista suspected jealousy. The post went viral locally, amplifying scrutiny. Laura traced it to cousin Mike, confronting him. Why? He shrugged. You flaunt it. Deal with it. The callousness stunned. Family ties frayed further. Emily defended Laura weakly. He's young. But the damage deepened wounds. Laura pondered forgiveness, ethical tightrope. Hold grudges or extend olive branches. Rebuilding with Callista progressed. They moved in together again, cautiously optimistic. Therapy helped navigate triggers. But societal echoes persisted, stares in stores, slurs online. Laura joined advocacy groups, channeling pain into action. Speeches at events empowered her. Visibility matters, she declared. Callista supported, pride swelling. Yet a final twist loomed. Emily called, voice urgent. Your father's had a heart attack. Rushing to the hospital, Laura faced mortality's stark reality. Mark lay pale, monitors beeping. I'm sorry, he whispered weakly. Tears blurred. For what? He squeezed her hand. Everything. Was it genuine or fear-induced? The question haunted. Mark's recovery was slow, a catalyst for change. Bedridden, he reflected. Conversations with Laura evolved from awkward to honest. I was scared of losing you, he admitted. But I did anyway. Laura shared her pain. Rejection hurts more than anything. Empathy bridged gaps, but scars remained. Emily facilitated, urging patience. We're trying. Callista visited hesitantly. Mark's nod was progress. Take care of her, he said gruffly. Callista smiled. Always. The moment was fragile, a tentative truce. Sophie, now vocal, advocated. Love is love, Dad. Her influence softened edges. Family therapy loomed as a suggestion. Maybe, Mark conceded. But setbacks came. Relatives divided, some boycotted gatherings, others reached out. Uncle Joe disinvited them from holidays. Can't condone it. Laura felt the sting of exclusion. Are we ever truly welcome? Callista pondered. Societal acceptance felt illusory. They attended pride events, finding community strength. Banners waved. Chants echoed. Affirmation amid adversity. Professional lives stabilized. Callista returned to teaching, bolstered by union support. Laura freelanced, gaining clients who valued diversity. Success bred confidence, but internal conflicts lingered. Laura dreamed of marriage, but family shadows loomed. Will they come? She worried. Callista reassured. If not, our friends will. A moral crossroads arrived with Sophie's coming out. At 17, she confessed attraction to girls. Like you, she told Laura. Panic ensued. Emily freaked. Not you too. Mark sighed. History repeats. Laura guided Sophie. Be true to yourself. But hypocrisy nagged. Had her choices paved this path or burdened it? The family imploded again. Emily blamed Laura's influence. You exposed her to this. Accusations flew. Laura defended. It's not contagious, Mom. It's innate. The fight escalated, old wounds reopening. Callista mediated. Blaming won't help. But Emily's tears spoke volumes. Fear of losing another child. Sophie ran away briefly, crashing with Laura and Callista. I can't stay there. Laura housed her, notifying parents. Mark arrived furious. You're enabling this. Debate raged. Protect Sophie or return her to toxicity. Ethics clashed. Laura chose advocacy involving counselors. She needs support. Resolution came via intervention. A mediator facilitated dialogue. Revelations poured. Emily's own suppressed feelings in youth. Mark's rigid upbringing. Understanding dawned. We all have baggage, Emily admitted. Apologies flowed. Mark hugged Sophie. I love you no matter what. Laura and Callista's relationship deepened amid chaos. They proposed to each other simultaneously, rings exchanged in a park. Laughter mingled with tears. Yes, they echoed. Planning the wedding tested alliances. Invites sent, responses varied. Emily offered to help. I want to be there. Mark grumbled but agreed. Betrayals resurfaced. Aunt Karen rallied dissenters boycotting. Sinful. Whispers of disinheritance circulated. Laura confronted. Family isn't conditional. The stand empowered but isolated. Friends filled voids, a chosen family emerging. The wedding approached, tensions peaking. Rehearsal dinner awkward, toast strained. Sophia's maid of honor beamed. To love conquering all. But doubts whispered. Was unity genuine or performative? Laura pondered sacrifices, the emotional toll, lost relationships. Worth it? On the day vows exchanged under sunny skies. Emily walked Laura down the aisle, tears glistening. Mark clapped a small smile. Celebration followed, dances shared. Callista whispered. We did it. Laura nodded, heart full yet wary. Healing begun but fragile. Post-honeymoon, normalcy attempted. Family gatherings tentative, conversations careful. Sophie thrived, out and proud. Laura reflected on the journey. Pain, growth, resilience. We've paid dearly, she told Callista. But we're free. Months after the wedding, cracks reemerged. Mark's health declined again, stress exacerbating. Emily confided. He struggles with it all. Laura visited often, bridging gaps. But a heated argument over politics, same-sex rights, reignited flames. It's against nature, Mark muttered. Laura left frustrated. Some things don't change. Callista urged boundaries. Protect your peace. But familial pull persisted. Sophie graduated high school, announcing college in California. To find myself. Laura envied her freedom, reminiscing her own suppressed youth. Go be bold. The send-off bittersweet, hugs lingering. Professional triumphs came. Laura launched her own design firm, specializing in inclusive branding. Callista advanced to administration, advocating for LGBTQ policies. Success validated choices, but societal backlash persisted. A local bill threatened rights, protests ensued. Laura spoke at rallies. We won't go back. Callista by her side united. Personal growth deepened. Therapy evolved to maintenance, tools honed. Laura journaled, processing. Love demands sacrifice, but so does self-respect. Callista echoed. Balance is key. Their bond, forged in fire, strengthened. Anniversaries celebrated intimately. Gratitude abounding. A final betrayal tested limits. Emily revealed a secret. Years ago, she'd had an affair, questioning her own identity. I buried it. Shock rippled. Why now? Emily tearfully. Seeing you live truthfully inspired me. But Mark didn't know. Moral dilemma. Disclose or conceal? Laura agonized. Truth sets free but destroys. She chose silence, advising Emily to confess. Own it. The revelation shattered Mark further. Divorce loomed. Blame shifted to Laura indirectly. Your influence started this. Pain compounded. Sophie sided with Laura. Hypocrisy. Family fragmented anew. In aftermath, Laura reflected on cycles. Had her coming out sparked chain reactions? Positive awakenings, yes, but at familial cost. Callista comforted. Change is messy. They adopted a dog, symbolizing new beginnings. Life moved forward, scars badges of survival. Community involvement grew. Mentoring youth, Laura shared stories. Your truth matters. Impact rippled, lives touched. But doubts lingered, right choices? Callista's unwavering support anchored. We chose love. As years passed, equilibrium found. Sparse family contact but civil. Sophie visited, thriving. Emily dated women discreetly, finding peace. Mark remarried, softening with time. Laura and Callista considered kids, navigating adoption biases. We'll fight for it. The journey's toll evident. Lost innocence, hardened resolve. Laura pondered ethics, personal happiness versus collective harmony. Sacrifices justified? Growth undeniable but pain indelible. In quiet moments Laura wondered, was defying family norms ultimately right, or did it cause more harm than good?